Question 5, identify all the transformations that occurred from the absolute value parent function to the function f of x equals negative 4/3 x plus 2 minus 5. So we can do this with our knowledge of function transformations, and we can also use a graph on Desmos to help. So to start, when it says the absolute value parent function, it means y equals the absolute value of x. So we want to compare everything to that. So what I'm going to do is look at what that looks like. It's a V shape centered around 0, 0. And we want to see what happens when we do all these movements here. So I'm going to start with one thing at a time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say y equals, I'll ignore typing f of x. I'll say negative the absolute value of x. So what happens with that negative out here? That negative is going to flip it over and this is the x-axis, so it's a reflection over the x-axis. So anytime you see a negative outside, it's going to be a reflection over the x-axis. Now let's look at the number being multiplied by. So we'll use a different color. We'll say 4/3. Now that 4/3 right there is actually going to be a number bigger than 1. So if I do 4 divided by 3, it's kind of hard to tell, but let me take that negative off here. So you can see how it's a little bit skinnier, right? If I take that off, that skinnier means it's going to be stretched, and it's going to be stretched in the vertical direction. So if that number is greater than 1, which 4 divided by 3 is, 4 divided by 3 is going to be 1.3 repeating, then it's going to be a vertical stretch. So we say vertical stretch. And it doesn't matter if it's negative or positive, it's the number after the sign. So if it's a positive or negative, it can still be a vertical stretch. In this case, it's being reflected and vertically stretched. The next thing I want to do is I want to do the minus or the plus 2 inside. So that plus 2, if you notice here, it actually brought it to the left 2. So anytime you add a number, it actually takes it to the left, not to the right. So be careful with that. So that plus 2 is going to be right, and that's going to be 2. So right 2. You can probably guess where the minus 5 is going to go, but let's verify that anyway. So that minus 5 at the end is going to take it, in this case, down. And so let me go over here and you can see it went shifted down and it shifted down exactly 5. So right 2, down 5, reflected over the x-axis and vertically stretched because 4 divided by 3 is bigger than 1. So we'll say down 5.